But you know the Constitution, and TJ Kajwang knows that our Constitution.
Hoya guys, back to our YouTube channel. Karibu tena nikupakulie nini inajaribu kuchemka hapa nchini Kenya. Kitu ya kwanza, Murkomen amepiga big U-turn because washa realize ya kwamba William Ruto anaenda ICC. So William Ruto akifika ICC, kitu ya kwanza Murkomen ilikuwa withdraw hii kitu ambacho alijaribu kusema kwamba shoot Kenyans, police to shoot Kenyans. Unaona watu ambayo pia ni makosa. Tangia nianze kuangalia viongozi hapa nchini Kenya, sijaona kiongozi akisema kwamba shoot the Kenyans ambao walikupigia kura. Unaona watu. So Murkomen aliamua kupiga big U-turn yesterday. Sikiza.
All the police officers who did a very good job yesterday, you have my full support. 100%. Even if you need a lawyer or you need anything, you have my back, and you have the back of this ministry. And I have your back, actually. And I have your back, and the ministry has your back. And the government has your back. If you are a police officer and you are being threatened with some character saying that you committed any excesses, there is no police officer who committed any excess yesterday. Police officers foiled a coup, and they deserve our defense. They don't carry guns as toys. When you threaten a police officer, you want to kill them. When you target an armory in a police station, when you steal guns, when you ban guns, when you ban a police station, you want us to celebrate you and bring you a birthday cake. We must be serious as a country. And as long as I have this responsibility, a policy responsibility of speaking on behalf of our police officers, we must defend them, because it is now clear the coup plotters are not sleeping. And while they were going around campaigning against policemen for the last 3 weeks, their campaign was not a genuine campaign for the reform of police officers. They wanted to sufficiently scare us and scare the police officers so that they can have a free passage to commit the crimes that we saw yesterday. If it was not for the police officers, we would not be having this country today. We would not be sitting here to make statements. And therefore, our police officers have my full support, and I will defend them against all the orchestrated attacks that want to paint police officers as if they are lesser human beings and not daughters and sons of this republic. Therefore, it is urgent as a nation to put in place a legal framework that operationalizes Article 37 of the Constitution to ensure that demonstrations are carried out in an orderly manner. This entails providing sufficient information on the planners, purpose, day, time, and demonstrations routes. Those who incited, organized, funded, or executed these attacks will face the full force of the law. The financiers and political sponsors of these men are being investigated and will soon answer for their crimes. Similarly, any police officer accused of unlawful use of force will face the law. As I speak, one police officer has already been arraigned and is facing murder charges. Further, any excesses by law enforcement officers will be investigated and appropriate action taken on those found to be culpable. Cognizant of the raging debate and national concerns on the use of force by security personnel, I will this Friday, pursuant to Article 245(4) of the Constitution, be issuing a policy directive to the Inspector General of Police on the use of force and firearm by law enforcement officers. What was witnessed on 25th of June and 7th July was stark testament to the extent to which the sponsors of this anarchy are ready to go to subvert the Constitution. This was not protest. It was pure premeditated criminality, deliberate, dangerous, and deeply disturbing. The right to assemble, demonstrate, picket, march, and arm and present petitions to authorities is guaranteed by our Constitution, and that cannot ever be taken away. Invasion of hospitals, rape, attack on ambulances, looting of businesses, forceful entry of protected areas, vandalism, erection of illegal roadblocks, and torching of government installations, including police stations and administrative offices, are vile crimes and must be treated as such.
I support this list. Honorable Speaker, many of these nominees, as has been said by the chair, who I know was slightly misunderstood, and I think is largely because of where he comes from. There are those who have the misconception that Honorable Tongoyo, coming from the Ma communities, has no regard for women. But I can ascertain and prove, Honorable Speaker, that I have known Honorable Tongoyo for the last few years, and he's also a father to a number of girls. In line with their culture, you do not count them, but he's a father to a number of them and has very high respect for women. And he was saying it on a positive note that these ladies have served in very crucial dockets. Peris Mudhoni served in the police service as a senior police officer, rose through the ranks from a junior officer to the rank of, I think her last posting was either regional or county commander. The same with Professor Coletta Suda. As has been said, she has served as a CAS, and I think at some point also as a PS in the Ministry of Education, the Higher Education Department. And Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I hear people who are inviting me to the discussion of discussing these ladies and these nominees' age. But the Constitution, and Honorable TJ Kajwang knows that our Constitution obligates us not to discriminate anybody on the account of either gender. That is why you had the honorable ladies led by the distinguished member for Nandi County, Honorable Cynthia Muge, rise in her place so that nobody should be discriminated either on the basis of her age, her gender, or even her religion, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, these ladies and these gentlemen, at whatever age, they are Kenyans who have been vetted and been ascertained by the committee which the Honorable Kaluma sits in, and he's a very serious and senior lawyer. You heard him the other day when he was discussing the law of the sea, that he can tell you even legally, he can tell you that they vetted and ascertained that these people merit to serve in these positions, Honorable Speaker, and they have very good experience. Because with age, Honorable Speaker, also comes experience. And a commission is like a board of trustees or a board of governors in a company or in an institution. And therefore, they are not the secretariat in the commission, Honorable Speaker. The secretariat has a very able young person, I think, called Lele. Very able team of young, energetic It's also good to marry that with a board or a commission that has both experience and wisdom. And I say that, Honorable Speaker, because all these officers have served in senior positions in government and out of government, and therefore have the requisite experience and wisdom to be able to guide the commission, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in closing, and I think it's the Vice Chair who has alluded to it, we must call on this commission to ensure that they work towards completely professionalizing our police force. Honorable Speaker, yesterday the Minister or the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the Interior and National Security did pronounce himself on a number of reforms within the police service. And part of those reforms must and should be implemented or supervised, the implementation will be supervised by the National Police Service Commission. And I want to call on these nominees as they join the commission to ensure that these reforms are implemented fully, that they professionalize our police force, and support our police officers. Because Honorable Raso has said it, and I know he came from the uniformed forces. These are men and women who give their lives to the service of our nation. In other jurisdictions, Honorable Speaker, and many of you who travel outside see, that those who have served in the military, those who have served in the police forces in their jurisdictions, are accorded very high respect, but even in retirement, not just when they're in service. You see, when you go to the US, they don't even queue in banks or at airports, those who have served in the military or in the disciplined forces. Why is it, Honorable Speaker, that for us we do not treat our servicemen and women with the same honor and dignity, yet we expect the same in return, Honorable Speaker? If we expect to be treated with courtesy, with honor, and with respect by our uniformed officers, let us also treat them with the respect and honor that comes with the officers that they serve in, Honorable Speaker. These are the officers who are salute at you, Honorable Speaker, and me and everybody else as we pass them in the streets. Many of us never bother to take our time to even know how they are doing, Honorable Speaker. And they are Kenyans like every other Kenyan, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, allow me also, Honorable Speaker, to take this opportunity. As much as we condemn excessive use of force by any officer, Honorable Speaker, and Honorable Speaker, to state that whatever happens, Honorable Speaker, in a country that has the rule of law at the core of its operations, Honorable Speaker, is something that this House must pay attention to, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, even or in spite or despite of the sad happenings of the death of Albert Ojwang, Honorable Speaker, I must commend the police that they have done their work to ensure that those who are responsible are brought to book, Honorable Speaker. Because that is how civilized nations work. That is how civilized democracies work. That you allow investigative agencies to do their work, take action against those who are seen to have been involved in one way or the other in breach of the law, Honorable Speaker. But also in the same light, Honorable Speaker, even as we condemn the excesses of a number of officers, because it is not all officers, Honorable Speaker. It is a few officers. Just like, Honorable Speaker, even in this House, we are not all angels. There are many of us who have our own shortcomings. And therefore, in every institution, Honorable Speaker, even within the police force, there are officers who will have excesses, and the law must be allowed to take its course, Honorable Speaker. But that must never be a justification that if an officer or two have exceeded the expectations of the public, Honorable Speaker, for us as members of the public to take the law into our hands, because that will be courting disaster and chaos in the country. I have seen activists in the streets, Honorable Speaker, touting policemen, an armed police officer, and you are touting them. I saw somebody, Honorable Speaker, the other day in Nakuru, brandishing a machete at an armed police officer, and I must take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to commend that officer in Nakuru who was being taunted with a panga. His life would have been at risk, or the lives of other Kenyans, but he maintained his cool. That is the kind of spirit we want to see, Honorable Speaker. But we must also speak to our people. We must also speak to the public that let us also treat our policemen and women with respect, with honor, and with the dignity that they deserve. Honorable Speaker, it is said, Honorable Speaker, that if you want to know the cost of education, try ignorance. If you want to know the cost of chaos, Honorable Speaker, allow, Honorable Speaker, everybody to roam the streets and do what they want and withdraw the police from those streets any day. Whether they are people picketing, whether they are demonstrators, whether they are mobilized looters, like we have seen, Honorable Speaker, in the recent past, what we are seeing being described as demonstrations are organized groups of goons, Honorable Speaker. Organized groups of goons. And you know, shamelessly, I had a leader purport that even the cars that were burnt last week were nowhere in the register of vehicles at NTSA. And I want to dare the former deputy president. It is okay to go and incite people on vernacular radio, but you must have the decency to adduce evidence of every allegation and claim that you make. Otherwise, you continue to exhibit the sort of ignorance that you served within office, even when you're out of office, Honorable Speaker. Kenyans witnessed those cars being burnt down. It only took me 5 minutes, Honorable Speaker, to be able to check Just zoom in, look at the number plates, check for those number plates at NTSA, and you'll be able to see that these are cars, one of them belongs to a security company, Honorable Speaker. You saw the officers who are in the escort car. Those officers, mind you, Honorable Speaker, are allowed to use brutal force to protect what they are escorting. Because most of them, it's cash in transit. They do not know who are these who are stopping them in the streets when they are transiting with cash. But those officers, Honorable Speaker, if you saw the video clips, they fired in the air to scare the people who are blocking the van that had the valuables that were transporting, and they were able to sail through. Unfortunately, the one that had unarmed officers, Honorable Speaker, ended up being torched. I'm saying this, Honorable Speaker, to appeal to members of the public. Let us not taunt our officers. Let us not throw our hands at them. Because I've seen people just brandishing their hands at officers, Honorable Speaker, and some restrain themselves. It's not every day you come across an officer who will be able to restrain themselves. Therefore, conduct ourselves, Honorable Speaker, in a dignified way. When we want to picket, when we want to protest, Honorable Speaker, we do it in a way that we are also not provoking these officers, that we are not provoking